Brian, if you're listening, just want to let you know that we require a quorum of 5, and we're not quite there yet tonight. But hopefully we'll give it another minute or two and see what happens. Okay.
Jim, who's on the studio control room?
That's Access Humboldt. They automatically monitor our meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for Larry, Eddie.
Just one more person to make a quorum, but either of those would do it, that's for sure. And Dotso.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if Ellen Murphy was selected?
If who?
Ellen Murphy was appointed?
I don't know if she's completed the process yet. I know she was going to apply, but I don't know if she's completed that. I haven't been notified by the county yet. Oh, good. Okay. Hi, Janelle. You're speaking, but you're muted.
Asked if you had started, but that was a silly question. You're all just sitting there.
Well, because we don't have a quorum yet.
Yeah, no.
We'll give it a couple more minutes. Here's Dotso. Good, great. Oops, get out of there.
Recording in progress.
Okay, it's 5:34. We do appear to have a quorum, so we'll go ahead with our meeting. I'm sorry there are not a few other people here, but we'll call the meeting to order and we will read the land acknowledgement. As we gather today, we acknowledge that Eureka, California is ancestral territory of the Wiyot people. We also honor all Indigenous people and territories and sovereign governments that share governance within Humboldt County, California. We gather with respect and gratitude to these Indigenous people. We thank and honor the Indigenous caretakers of this land who continue to cherish and protect it. Their elders have instructed the young to consider the 7 generations ahead as they continue to protect the rights of the land and all people who live on it. We encourage all to align and follow the lead of local Indigenous communities as they steward the land and protect all of its natural resources. We'll pause for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Carol, if you'll call the roll, please.
For District 1, Jim Glover,
Here.
Carol Larson. Here. Bird Lochte.
Here.
District 2, Dotso Perkins,
Here.
Larry Miller. District 3, Guy Arnoff.
Here.
I don't see anyone. Oh, District 4, Mary Lyons is absent. Eddie Morgan.
Here.
District 5, Lisa Sundberg is absent or excused. We have a quorum of 6.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any requests for agenda adjustments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead with the meeting as scheduled then. One of the things I wanted to point out before we get into our regular meeting is that we've had a kind of an uptick in issues within the county. Part of the reason we have one of our guests here this evening is because of that uptick. And it has to do with hate speech and actions in our area. I think the challenge for the Human Rights Commission has got to be, how do we become proactive enough to respond to these things when they happen in a quick manner so that we can be effective? I don't have an answer for that at the moment, but I hope you'll all be thinking about that as we move forward. The minutes of the July 7th meeting were distributed previously. I didn't receive any notification of anybody wanting to amend or add to them. And unless Carol, unless you did, we can go ahead and approve the minutes as presented.
I did receive some from Bird.
Oh, okay. Have you made those changes then?
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, we will consider the minutes approved as amended. I doubt so.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Treasurer's report. Guy? You're muted.
Sorry about that. Our current balance is $476.90. But the last time we got billed for Google Suite was in July. I believe we've now got that corrected. We're not going to get billed for that anymore. And the only billing I know of, at least currently, as of August 1st, was just Zoom, which I think they just take out monthly, but it's a year service that we signed up for. So we're doing okay.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Guy? I have one. I don't know if we need a PIN for our account. I got this in the mail at the courthouse, wanting us to establish a 4-digit PIN number.
Okay, I'm not. Is that for the new debit card? I guess
It must be. Yeah.
I'll probably maybe have to do that again. I'm not sure on that.
Okay. I don't really know that there's much here that I can send you, but I can scan it and send it. And you can make a decision from that.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. At this point, we have one of our guest speakers is here tonight. And we appreciate Brian Ahern, the Chief of Police of the City of Arcata, being with us. And Brian, I think you know why you're here. We're interested in knowing a little bit more about any issues that have arisen in your community in recent weeks. And with that, you can have 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, commissioners. It happens from time to time in Arcata, and what we found out in this particular case, the distribution of these anti-Semitic flyers occurred not only here in Arcata, but other parts of Humboldt County and throughout the country, actually. But unfortunately, this is one of what is an ongoing and somewhat separated incident that reminds us all that, hate speech and hate ideology, unfortunately, remains in not only our community, but throughout the country. So our work, quite frankly, as a Human Rights Commission, as an Anti-Defamation League, Centro del Pueblo, NAACP, law enforcement, all of our houses of worship, religious groups. It's unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get, to the destination, which is all the more reason why, we have to continue to work together, share information, and try to reduce the potential for hate speech as much as we possibly can, and to protect those who are victimized by it. So going back to the first week of July of this year, we received information, we being the police department, that several of our council members had racist and anti-Semitic propaganda shared on their respective social media accounts. And I'm grateful to those who received that information, who forwarded it to our city manager, who then notified the police department of the distribution of these flyers. And many of you, if not all of you, have probably seen the flyers. There were a couple of different versions that were distributed in Arcata, but basically the flyers were attributing a lot of problems with, for instance, Disney, for example, being monopolized by, the Jewish community, as well as President Biden's administration, and many of the media moguls are all monopolized by people of the Jewish faith. Several of the flyers had photographs of many of the people in leadership capacities who were identified as being members of the Jewish faith, and had the Star of David written on or drawn on their foreheads. The flyers, at least in Arcata, were packaged for the most part in a sealed Ziploc bag, and with 2 pennies inside each bag to not only weigh them down, but many believe that that is a racist trope against the Jewish community. We also had another flyer that was distributed that was different from those, but it's the same message, and it attributed the COVID-19 pandemic, to the Jewish community. So we took a report, began the investigation, and which encompassed contacting people who found these flyers, and typically they were on their front yard or on their driveways. We documented their statements, collected the evidence, and began an investigation, and then started to learn through the media that similar flyers were located in Scotia, Cutton, and Fortuna. Also, we did some research and saw that similar flyers were distributed in Los Gatos, and we learned that through a NCRIC briefing, which is the Northern California Regional Intelligence Center, and that really is a collaborative consisting primarily of law enforcement at the federal, state, and local levels. It's a fusion center where we share information and try to connect the dots on whether it's hate groups or criminal enterprises, any sort of either incident or crime that could be impacting multiple communities. So that's when we started to learn that, okay, while it did impact us here in Arcata, it's part of a much greater network, which then brought us to the Anti-Defamation League. And I want to credit Nancy Apple from the ADL, from their Northern California office, who reached out to Arcata. You know, we're a small rural police department, as all of you know, but you know, any city can be impacted by any incident or crime at any time. And I was happy that the ADL reached out, provided us some additional intelligence information on a group that has distributed similar types of propaganda. You might have heard of them, the Goyim Defense League, which operates primarily in California, Colorado, Florida, and New York. Goyim being it's a disparaging Yiddish and Hebrew word for non-Jew, hence they pride themselves on being the Goyim Defense League, and they just spread racist and hateful messages. That is their goal. And if you go online, you'll see a number of not only flyers and literature, but events that they hold and podcasts that they hold, that they spread these messages of hate. The Arcata cases ended up being hate incidents, and really in the criminal world is, if it's a hate crime, you've got to be able to tie that conduct or the message to, you know, some type of a criminal activity that would not only make that crime in and of itself a crime, but you would have a hate crime enhancement if that crime is perpetrated against someone because of you know, who they are and what they represent in a number of different categories, to include, you know, race, religion, gender, and so forth. So we were not able to establish that element in these cases because those who received the flyers could not attribute to receiving them because of something that, you know, they believed in or subscribed to. So really the incident versus a crime is it's still hate speech, but if it's hate speech and it's protected by, you know, your First Amendment right, then it falls more on the incident side. Still very valuable to investigate and to be notified of. Whereas, as you're all aware of, you know, as we were investigating, you know, the flyers, we came upon, unfortunately, a hate crime in Arcata when, you know, the sign at the community garden was vandalized on July 21st. And because, you know, that garden is for, you know, our Indigenous communities and other, you know, communities of color, it's been deemed a safe space, you know, for them. It is our feeling as police department that crime was perpetrated and that they were particularly and specifically targeted. And also because many of the members of Central del Pueblo, the NAACP, were actually, you know, they felt threatened, you know, by the vandalism of that sign. So that case, coming right off the heels of the distribution of the flyers, is being investigated as a hate crime. Now, two things that sort of stood out as we investigated the flyers, and this really was primarily in our interaction with the media, And that was, why do you investigate these if they're not a crime? And then the other part, which is sort of related to that, is, what should the community do when, they are aware of or receive this kind of information? So to the first point is, why should law enforcement be involved? Well, even if it may not be a crime. Let's say, for example, it's First Amendment protected. Well, it's because it's valuable intelligence information. And in fact, that hate incident might be a precursor to a hate crime at some point. And working with our Fusion Center partners, we will fill out what's, a particular form, it's a suspicious activity report or a SAR, and that suspicious activity report will get uploaded into, a database that is capturing suspicious activity reports, not just from our region and from California, but from states all over, the United States plus the world, to try to connect the dots and share information. And so that when if a crime were to occur, we have the ability to go to that intelligence database and try to identify who in fact is responsible. So, and obviously with social media being so prevalent now, while we weren't called initially by community members, I was grateful that community members at least posted the information onto social media accounts so that it was reported to the police at some point. So I would just encourage community members, if you think something may be related to a hate incident or is obviously a hate crime, report it to someone, post it somewhere, or call local law enforcement so that we can at least evaluate it and begin the fact-finding process, triage the information, and then not only do the intelligence side of the reporting, but also see if we have elements of the crime that are met. So both investigations are ongoing, both the flyer sort of hate incident and the vandalism of the sign at the Community Garden and 11th and F. We do have, we've developed some information. We've developed some leads. So these cases are active. And as always, I would encourage anyone, if you have any information related to either of these or any other hate incident or hate crime anywhere in Arcata or Humboldt County, Northern California, or anywhere in the world, let us know. We could always send that information to the appropriate authorities, because again, we want to make sure we're doing our part to not only try to reduce the potential for these hate incidents and hate crimes to occur, but also when we identify who's responsible, we want to arrest them and allow the criminal justice system to hold them accountable. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Okay. Bird?
I'm not sure I quite understood when you said it wasn't considered a hate crime if the person to whom it was directed was not related somehow. And to me, it seems if these flyers were put at the temple, that is definitely a hate crime against anyone who is associated with the temple.
Correct. That did not occur in Arcata. The flyers were left at people's homes. And so clearly, it's a hate message and it's being distributed for a particular reason, but there's got to be some nexus to the person's either disability, gender, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation. And it might be the case, Bird, in this case, we just haven't established that link yet. And we've talked to all those who we're aware of who received the flyers, which is why it remains a hate incident, but it always could be, and it could cross the threshold to a hate crime But we have to be able to establish those elements. And let me also say that what is abhorrent to many people, and it's not just in the form of hate and espousing hate ideology. It could be other activities. The sexual exploitation of people, I'll use as an example, is you have advocates out there that are challenging law enforcement, to stand down and don't violate people's rights to express, either their First Amendment right or what many believe to be is just their rights in general. So, we have to make sure that we're not overreaching in the criminal investigation, but we're going to keep these, especially the hate incidents, keep those open files so that if we are able to connect the dots and at least meet the elements of a crime, we'll forward that case to the district attorney's office, to be evaluated for potential charging. The vandalism at the community garden is that garden was clearly targeted. It's a well-known safe space for people of color. And so we believe that that element has been met, the criminal element. So it is a vandalism case with a hate crime element to it as well.
Okay. Other questions for Chief Ahern? I have a two-parter. One is, obviously, both of these events took place in a relatively close proximity time-wise to each other. Have you pretty well determined that there's no connection between the two? And the second question is, excuse my ignorance, but Goyim, how do you spell it?
Yeah, Goyim is spelled phonetically George, Ocean, Yellow, Ida, Mary.
I had all the letters right except one. Okay.
Goyim Defense League.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so to your first question, sir, we don't know if they're related or not. They could be, they may not be. We are certainly vigorous in our investigative response to this. We are interested in obtaining video that anyone may have. We've identified and spoken to people who have discovered the crimes or the incidents. We've got really good statements from them, but we're always interested in learning from others what they may have seen or things they may have heard, postings from people they are aware of that could somehow, connect the dots. So I don't want to say they're not or that they are. What I can say is that there are certainly similarities in terms of the hate message. We are a small community. So it could be a person or a small group of people or a large group of people here, either in Arcata or who travel through Arcata, who are doing a similar type of activity. Or it could be two lone wolves, maybe not even realizing that they're part of a larger network. It's really hard to say. Many of these groups operate online and communicate primarily online. They do hold events, but much of their ideology and their hate is spread within their group, within their culture, within their teams via online. So sometimes it could make it a lot more challenging for us, to try to penetrate those groups and learn more about them, just due to the fact that, they're very much aware that we're online, we have Facebook accounts, and we're trying really hard, to infiltrate, and sometimes it's not that easy. So the investigations are ongoing, and we'll see how it goes here in the days and weeks ahead.
Okay. Are there any additional questions for the chief, please? Well, Chief Ahern, we thank you for joining us. I hope that you'll feel free to contact us if you learn anything noteworthy that we should be sharing with the public.
Will do, and thanks for the work you're doing. And I know you said earlier at the beginning of the meeting is you're not sure really, what your role may be, but I guarantee you just placing it on your agenda and having a discussion creates more awareness and continues to remind our community members that, we all, need to remain vigilant, and something that might seem, to be not necessarily something that law enforcement should be aware of. If it at least, causes you to stop, to be curious, let us know. So thank you all for the work you're doing as well.
All right, thank you for being here. Okay, we have another speaker scheduled. I'm not sure if that is the one screen I can't identify. Is there anybody here from Centro de Pueblo? Okay, I'm going to assume that they did not come. So we will move on with our agenda then. The next part of the meeting is public comment. This is for non-agenda items that the public may address, and each person would have 3 minutes to address the commission. Is there any public comment this evening? Okay, I do not see any. So if that's the case, we'll move on with our agenda. Under emails and communications, the only communication I had was with Umpqua Bank, and I made Guy aware of that. Is there any other email or postage mail from anybody that I might not be aware of? Guy.
I did hear from the head of the Chamber of Commerce in Garberville, and they're going to be getting back to me, and I hope we'll be meeting with them, or at least I'll be meeting with them probably over the next month or something to, again, hear some of the issues that are affecting them down in the southern portion of our county.
Great. Okay. Any other items from the commission? Okay. Next item is message line report. Guy, you're up again.
Well, I gave you a little bit of it, I think, the last time, although it was at the start, but for my 2 weeks, it was exceedingly quiet. I only had one gentleman who called twice. I couldn't get in touch with him, although I did leave a message for him. He was concerned about some kind of intelligence gathering here in the county, and I did direct him to the Northern California branch of the ACLU, because I know they do a lot of investigating of those kinds of issues. But again, as I said, he gave me a number. I called him twice, and he didn't answer. I just had a phone message. So I called him, left him that information the first time, and then called him again saying we're playing phone tag. And he hasn't called back since. I don't know if, Jim, if your 2 weeks, if you managed to hear from the same gentleman or not, or if he maybe got in touch with the ACLU.
No, mine doesn't sound like one that I took.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I think that I got a message from that same person, I believe, in the same situation. He never returned, I was never able to reach him.
All right. Well, all we can do is try. That's what we're here for. During my 2 week period, I had 5 calls from 2 people. And one of those calls I referred to Larry because I felt I had a little bit of a conflict of interest with the person calling, and so he was going to deal with it. Unfortunately, Larry isn't with us this evening, so we can't find out how that particular issue went. The other issue that I dealt with in 3 different phone calls. First, I called the lady, and she indicated that the problem had resolved itself. But then she called back again 2 more times, and her complaint was against the Arcata House Partnership. And so my response there was to contact the Arcata House and try to learn why this person might feel that they are being discriminated against. Of course, they had a very difficult time sharing very much with me because there are privacy issues involved that we all have to respect. So the best I was able to do with this person was to encourage her to try again to work within the guidelines that are established by Arcata House to get her the help that she's able to receive and willing to receive. So that's really all I had. So next would be to take 2 volunteers for the month of November, the 1st through the 15th and the 16th through the 30th. Anybody available? Don't everybody jump at once. Dotso?
I would do the 16th till the 30th.
Okay, great, thank you.
And I'll do the 1st through the 15th.
Okay, thanks, Carol. All right, just as a reminder, Carol is on now and Dotso is on next in the month. Okay. All right. Because Larry,
Jim?
I'm sorry. Did somebody?
I did receive one call today and I checked
Oh,
the message line just before the meeting. And I don't have access to our resource cards, so I can direct them. Is it online?
well, the one online is dated, but I have additional cards here at my home that I can get you a few.
Okay. And then maybe I can call you to ask for recommendations on where I should send this person.
Okay, is it something you don't want to talk about?
Well, his complaint is that he is being discriminated by the Humboldt Behavioral Health Department.
Oh, yeah.
So you may know of this person. He says he's called many times throughout the years. He said for 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, why don't I give you a call separate from the meeting and I'll try to see if we can come up with a plan for dealing with him.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, next item on the agenda is Correctional Facilities Liaison Report, and we're missing Larry badly tonight, but he would normally report on that. I don't know of any new issues with the jail at this point. So we'll move on to standing committee reports. The first committee report would be from the Sanctuary Ordinance Committee. Guy and Eddie?
Yeah, we haven't met, and I was hoping, again, I've been in touch with Central Doug Pueblo, and I thought for sure this time they were going to show up, and I was hopeful we would get some information and kind of serve as sort of our information for this part of the meeting, but obviously that hasn't happened tonight.
Do you want to try and reach out to them one more time?
Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I do hear from them. I don't know why they're not making it to the meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Bert has a question.
Who is Galaxy A12?
I don't know. Part of the public, I assume.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, the next committee report is the Human Trafficking Fund Committee, and the item of issue there is an application received by EPI and the Foursquare Church for some Humboldt Area Foundation funds. I distributed earlier to everybody the application from them. And at this point, we would consider a recommendation to approve the request. Bert?
I move the adoption of the request for the Human Trafficking Fund from Humboldt Area Foundation as presented with the agenda.
Okay, is there a second? Guy, okay, thank you. Okay, this, just in case you haven't read the application, this application is submitted by Katrina Sims, and she has met with us before. The total amount that they are asking for is $4,918, and that will leave in the Humboldt Area Foundation Fund about $600. And I'm not sure how we're going to dispose of that funding, but this amount of money that's being requested will support their activities for the better part of a year. Hey, any discussion on the proposal? Okay, you're too easy tonight. Okay. All those in favor of approving the grant request, please indicate with a yes. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It is unanimous. Therefore, this will go to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow for being placed on their agenda, which I believe will be the August 16th agenda for them to give final approval to the expenditure. Okay, thank you. Next, ad hoc committee reports. Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee. Carol, did you want to speak on this a little bit?
Yes. Were you able to distribute the list?
I'm going to share it right now. Everybody should be able to see it. Anyway, this has been the project of that committee. Can everybody read it?
Yep.
Can't get it all on the screen at the same time, but it's a really good resource guide for Native American contacts.
It mostly has Native American, although it does have like the Humboldt Literacy Project, Humboldt Senior Resource Center, John Ryan Youth Center. The contributions to the list were made by Larry, Bird, and Lisa.
Very good.
And as you can see, this is a draft. If it is approved, we probably need to put the Humboldt Human Rights Commission logo on here someplace. And so this is presented for review by the whole commission. And any suggestions if we have left off anything or need to include additional listings.
We could either act on this now, or we could distribute it so that you have more time to read the whole document more thoroughly. The chair is open to any suggestions on that front. Bird?
I just want to say thank you to Carol for her leadership in getting this put together. She did a great job in getting us to contribute to it and to get it as complete as it was possible to be. I would like to see that we approve it now. It isn't something that has to be set in stone. We can always add to it if we need to, if we find something that we want to add to it. But I would like to see us have this available.
So that you're moving that we move forward with it. Is that right?
Unless Carol wants to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm perfect. Excuse me. I'm okay with that. As long as maybe we can add the human rights symbol on there someplace.
What I'm thinking, Carol, is, well, we can discuss it now, but I was thinking it wouldn't be necessary to add the logo if this is added to our web page.
On you.
And that way it's automatically associated with the commission.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I would I'm sorry, I would second this as long as we could add things in the future, because evidently some things are gonna come up. But I would make the motion and second it.
Yeah, it definitely can be edited and added to or deleted from in the future. That would easily happen. So it is moved and seconded. Further discussion, Guy?
Yeah, again, I would support both the first and seconding of it. I just would ask if possible, one of the additions I would hope to see in the future is, a name that we could attach to most of these, so that if we're going to call a number, we have a contact name that goes along with it.
Oh, I see. Is that something that's doable, committee? Bert?
I mean, we have contact names for some of these people, organizations.
Right.
I know that obviously names will change over time, but it does help sometimes if you actually have someone that you can contact directly.
Right.
The problem is that changes, and but if we are just having it on the website, that's easy to change. So that would be fine if we did have names, but many times they won't give you a name because it does change so often.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the tribal organizations, the names do change quite often. So with the tribal organizations that I have down there, it's their main phone line, so that you could ask that receptionist or front office person.
Yeah, as it turns out, go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, no, I would recommend maybe just saying a title or an office, because when you call on the phone, you want to give that person some, set them up for success. So, okay, I'm calling the College of the Redwoods, and am I calling the Eureka campus? I mean, who am I asking for? And sometimes that would, you want, that's the objective, I think. So maybe not the name, but an office or a title.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody got the same communication I did regarding the human trafficking community collaboration, but for some reason I saw all the responses to the invitation to their next meeting, and 3 of them, I believe, were from Two Feathers, and those people are no longer with it. So in that sense, if we had those names right now, they've already would have been outdated. So you have a good point there. Maybe it's the position we need to identify, not so much the individual. But we can add to this as time goes on too.
Okay, and maybe I can do some further research. So if you look at United Indian Health Services Incorporated, it's right. And it says the phone number, ask for traditional resource specialist.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's very good. And no matter who's in that position, they'll be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other discussion on this item? Okay, we'll call for the vote then. All those in favor of adopting this resource guide and adding it to the web page, please indicate with a yes or a hand.
Yes.
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 Can't see everybody. Did you?
Yes.
I assume you voted, Bert?
Yes, I said yes.
Okay, I couldn't see all of you at the same time. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. And thank you, Carol and committee for doing that.
Okay.
Okay. Next, and by the way, that was the assignment for this committee, and the expiration date was for the 31st of August. I do have a suggestion that we might give a new charge to this committee, or we could create a new committee. I was reading through some old materials, and I saw a proclamation issued by the Human Rights Commission in 2018 to celebrate or in recognition of American Indian Month, which is in November. We might want to consider whether we have a special project or a new updated proclamation or anything you might think of to honor Indigenous people during that time frame. You want to consider it at a future date, or?
And I think that was one of the items that I brought forth, that Indigenous proclamation years back. So I wouldn't mind committing, having another ad hoc committee or keeping it within this one.
Do the members that were on this ad hoc committee feel comfortable working with Carol on a new project then?
Yes,
I see Bird nodding yes. Who else was on the committee?
Larry.
Larry.
Oh, I know he will. We'll get him to, we'll get him to help too. Well, why don't we extend your committee out to December 1st?
31st.
Yeah, may as well go to the end of the year, December 31st. And we'll change the current issue to American Indian project. Just call it project, and it can be whatever you want it to be. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks, Carol, for taking that on. And do you have a copy of your old proclamation?
Just in case, will you forward the one that you have?
Yes, sure. Okay, will do. Okay, next ad hoc committee report is on homelessness. Guy, what do you have to let us know?
We haven't had any meetings yet. I have been hopeful that we're going to be getting, some new blood in here with some additional people joining our group. I do know that we do need to meet soon. It is now August 1st and winter is coming, even though it doesn't feel like winter yet, but it's going to come very quickly, and the homeless issue is not resolved. I mean, I don't assume it's going to resolve by the end of the year either, but I do think we need to plan accordingly and not wait until December when the temperatures are hovering around freezing again to address, again, some of our concerns that we have in our community. So again, like I said, I'm hopeful. I know, the two members that we have along with me, I know we can do some good work, but it would be nice if, like I said, if we see some new members joining our committee. I don't know. You mentioned something at the start that process may be going on right now.
I believe it is. I hope by the next meeting we'll have some good news to report there. And of course, as I've said before, any of you that know of a person that could contribute to the Human Rights Commission, there's no reason to delay letting them know that we need them now. And the other question I wanted to ask, I guess I'll direct it to Guy, but are you aware of what the status is of the general group of people that were camped illegally on the outskirts of Arcata? I understand they cleaned up that particular area and dispersed people, but were there any positive outcome from that?
I don't know. I wish we would have asked that to the chief when we were here.
Yeah, I didn't think of it at the time.
Yeah, I can check back with him because I'm going to be seeing him probably later on this week. So I'll check with him on that.
Okay, that would be good. I think we ought to at least know. Yes, Janelle?
I was hoping that you actually had gotten farther. I was very hopeful, but I just wanted to, I could have done this at the beginning of the meeting, but I thought I'd wait till now, is that the Housing Trust Fund and Homeless Solutions Committee has on their agenda for next Thursday a proposal for a system of camps. And there is some funding. It's a long shot, but that's going to be discussed by the Housing Trust Fund and Homeless Solutions Committee. I'll be happy to send you the information about it.
Oh, please do. Please do.
I wanted to encourage you to come if you're interested.
Those meetings are held where or how?
It's electronically. They're also there. You can find their agenda with the link to the meeting right next to your agenda in the county webpage, the Housing Trust Fund and Homeless Solutions Committee.
Okay.
And I can send it. I think I can find Guy's or somebody's address that I can email address. And I'll send-
HHR at,
okay,
yeah, send it to that and I can distribute it to everybody.
great. Great, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Janelle. Okay. All right. We have the next report is from the survey results. We have not met yet. I was counting on Ellen having joined us by now so that Bird, Ellen, and I could meet. We'll try to make sure that that happens before the next meeting. So the next report would be from the logo committee. Where the heck are we, Gatso?
Have you received any submissions yet?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, so I have had a lot of interest online and people seem like they're doing it, but maybe they haven't submitted anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if maybe we should move it back one more month,
What's our current deadline?
the end of this month, the 31st.
Oh, I think we've gone this long. We may as well give it another month. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I just did another push the other day and I got a lot more feedback and it seems like people are, maybe possibly working on it. Just from the groups that I posted it in.
Okay. Any objection to us extending the committee one more month?
I move that we extend the date of the commission, of the committee, excuse me.
Okay. Is there a second? Bird seconds. Okay, all those in favor of extending the committee one more month to the end of September, please indicate with a yes vote.
Yes,
Okay. It's unanimously approved. Thank you. Guy,
Yeah, I just wondered if maybe we could think about maybe providing some leaflets at the county fair that's going to be opening up in about 10 days, because maybe we might get some more people.
we have some leaflets, but would it require that we print more in order to have a decent, how would we distribute them to?
Yeah, I don't know, but we could check, because I mean, they always have all the different booths when you come in over there. And I thought, maybe we can, maybe there's a bulletin board or something. I don't know. We could probably just get in touch with them and find out if there's a place where we could maybe, put a few of them up. That way, at least you'll have a few more people maybe getting a shot at it. The other option, now that you've extended it, is I know some of the posters you gave me, I did post at CR's art department and at HSU's art department. But with school opening up, over the next 3-4 weeks, maybe we should, make another effort, hit the colleges and hit the high schools, as the semester begins, because, they won't have a lot of things they have to do yet for school. And this might be just considered a fun assignment for them, and I'll,
Right.
get to it.
I think one of the things that we should do if we're going to do that is, unfortunately, and it feels, I don't know if we can do that, is to print up more flyers that have the accurate date. Because if we're distributing flyers that have a date that says July 31st or, the past date that we had on there, people aren't going to consider, they'll think it's already closed.
Right.
So I'm not sure what kind of, if any money we have to do that.
What could we budget? Bird?
Could you take one of the ones you have and put a strip across which says deadline extended with the date, and just paste it on and then make the copies?
That would work.
You don't have to change the whole flyer. You just have it and it stands out and people know that the deadline's been extended.
So are we agreed that maybe we should spend a little bit more money on an updated version of the flyer? There's a yes there. Okay.
yes.
I mean, how many?
That's possible. I mean, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Sorry, talking over you.
Guy, go ahead.
I was going to say, how many flyers do you have currently? Do you know? You can bring out the cash.
Uh-oh. Hurt yourself.
He's disappeared.
Yes.
I'm back.
We're adjourning here.
I have probably 30 or 40 of the smaller
Uh-huh.
one and probably 50 or 60 of the larger version. This is the one you would suggest we put an extended date on?
Yeah, I think we could, working on what Bird said, I think we've got, like a label maker that I know I could, run through our printer that you could, that has the sticky back, and we could literally just make enough. If you've got 30 or 40 of them, we could make 34 stickers that just says, new date or extended date to, I guess, the end of September or whatever, or whenever you want to date on it. And we'll just make them and we'll just stick them right on top of what you got, because that way you don't waste anything.
And do you have some copies left, Dotso?
I do, and if I could meet up with you, I have an event up there on Tuesday and probably coming up on Saturday. If I could meet up with you, I would be happy to bring them home and just print them on my computer. I could print the new date on there, and I could also print a QR code on them. I mean, if there's only 30 of them, if I'm printing in black ink, it wouldn't be a big expense for me, and I would be happy to do that.
Well, that one might be in a more immediate way to get this taken care of. Yeah, if you want to meet, if you're coming up on Saturday, we could meet again like we did before, and you can, I can hand you what I have, and we
Okay.
can go from there.
Yeah, and then that way I could put the QR code, because I think that that's, a really helpful way for people to kind of see more information all at once.
Okay, well, we'll report back to you. I think we've got another avenue to pursue. Eddie?
Jim,
Also, if you wanted to send me the stuff, we can put it on Tri-County's Facebook and CHIP mail. So you just send that, we'll put it on there.
Okay, I'll do that, Eddie. I'll send that to you.
I was also going to suggest extending it until the end of December. The reason I'm suggesting that is because if we have high school students and we contact the art teachers, that could be the length of time that's part of their semester that they could finish a project, even at the college level.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea either. I mean, and we haven't had any submissions yet, so I think more time would be, hopefully more submissions and a variety.
Would we want to modify the extension of the date to the end of the year then? I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah,
Okay, let's call it 12/31 then.
and that's it, final.
And that's it. Okay. All right. All right, and Dot, so I'll give you a phone call and we'll set something up as well.
Sounds perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's a good project. I just don't know, it's challenging to try to reach people and get them motivated on something like this. Okay, next ad hoc committee report is Indigenous Peoples Report, focusing on murdered and missing Indigenous people. Lisa is chair, but she's not here. So it leaves Guy and Carol from that committee. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to meet at all.
No, she hasn't contacted us.
Okay, well, we'll try, hopefully get something going for next month then. Unfinished business. I had meetings and protocols down. I thought we had a solution to our in-person meeting dilemma because I was told that the conference room A was going to be available to us again, just like it had for years. And then that got vetoed. So apparently we're not going to be meeting in the courthouse anytime soon. And so we're still working on a location for the time being, with COVID being what it is. Seems as though this is still a viable way for us to continue to meet. So nothing really new to report there. The Student Human Rights Commission, again, we're waiting on the addition of 1 or 2 new members to the to the commission. That's been on my brain. Anyway, and so we'll put that off until next month. And the next item, which I did share with you as well, is consideration of the bylaw amendments. I hope you've had a chance to take a look at them. They are relatively minor in nature. The most significant addition to the context was that a commissioner needed to serve at least 6 months before being added to the eligible to run for office. Other than that, it was one word here or there. And if you have questions, we can go over them now. Bird.
I think we have to have a motion first. I move the adoption of the amendments as presented with the agenda.
And Guy seconds. Okay. All right. Is there any discussion at this point on the proposal? Easy peasy. All those in favor of approving the bylaws, please raise your hand.
Yes.
And she's a yes. Okay. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what's left. Under new business, I put down 3 items. We'll start with the second one first. And that's the annual report. I've collaborated with Mary Lyons because we had 2 different years or two different people representing the commission. I thought it would be only right to have her participate in putting down the activities that she thought were noteworthy from the commission. It is prepared. I haven't sent it out yet. I'm not sure that it needs approval, but it can be if the commission feels it is warranted. This is a report that goes to the Board of Supervisors, recapping our status, our wish list, and our activities for the year. Kurt?
I don't think we have to approve it, but I think it's good for everybody to look at it and be sure that nothing has been left out. That is important.
Okay, well then I will, after the meeting is over, I'll send this out to everybody so that you can all take a look at it. But your input, your rapid input would be much appreciated because I'd like to send this off to the Board of Supervisors as well. Eddie?
I recommend you put a limit by which date, if you don't get any input, you send it out. That way there's not beholden.
How about tomorrow? Yeah, the reason is because there's a part of the report that asks for some money from the board. And there has been some expression of possible interest in helping fund at least a portion of our activities. Hi, Kitty. And that process is probably going to come before the board in September because I think they're going to adopt the new budget in October. Yes, Eddie?
I'd recommend you say Monday morning.
I think we can wait that long. Sure. Okay. If you have a response or anything to contribute, please get back to us by Monday morning, and then I'll take it from there. Okay. And we already discussed the application for the Humboldt Area Foundation. So the other item, I didn't know what, if any, actions or activities the commission thought would be appropriate regarding Roe versus Wade and the current situation in the country. I don't know if there's anything we could do, but.
Yeah, and I was the one that brought that issue up. I was just wondering if, and I don't know if the commission could even participate in any events around the Roe versus Wade issue.
Are you aware of any upcoming community events or actions that might be appropriate for us to weigh in? I see Eddie's hand is up as well.
I've been following this particular subject closely. I actually was at a meeting in San Francisco about it. I think the only way that we, as Californians, we can help or is because if you look at the California Constitution and the laws here in California, it's other states. So if we want to do anything, it's how we would help other people come to California. I think that's the only place that at our level we can do anything. I don't know if we want to get involved in that area.
Yeah.
Well, there may not be a direct thing we can do, but I'd like to have it be front and center of everybody's thinking. Because if you do come up with an idea that's viable for a commission like ours to weigh in on this subject, timing, of course, is everything. So, okay. Well, at this point, we're close to the end of the meeting. Are there any proposed agenda items for the September meeting that I should be aware of? Bert.
You mentioned right at the beginning of the meeting about things coming up like a hate speech and so forth, and how we might be able to react in a timely manner. And I'm wondering if we should consider something like a, I don't want to say a blanket response, but something that we talk about and say, if something comes up, then we provide a my word or a letter to the editor saying that this has happened in our community. We see this as a human rights violation and we condemn it, and then give something about who we are, what we do, and how to contact us, and have that available so that you plug in what the specific thing is that happened, but we have an approved way of responding, letting people know that we're aware of it, that we do not condone that behavior, and that there is a way for people to contact us. And I guess I have to have that on the agenda to talk about.
That's a good idea. All right. Any other thoughts for the agenda for the September meeting? We will have other items. Okay. All right. Well, if that's the extent of it, I will entertain a motion. Yes, Guy.
Unmute myself. Just one thing I thought is in keeping with what you guys just mentioned. I thought I'll give a little bit of advertising. They have a celebration in the Creamery District that's going to be in 10 days from 4 to 8 p.m. And this one is called the First Oban. I'll apologize for my poor pronunciation, festival, but again, it's a Japanese Buddhist custom. It's sort of a Day of the Dead kind of activity, and it's being put on by the Asian Pacific Islanders group at Humboldt State. So just do a little plug over here for that.
Sure, absolutely. All right, any last thoughts? If we could have Dotso and Eddie stick around for just a minute after the meeting, I would appreciate that. But otherwise, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
And Eddie seconds it. Or are you scratching his forehead? I don't
I
know.
was scratching my forehead, yes, but I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor of adjourning for the evening, raise your hand.
Wave.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's a yes from Carol. Okay. Thank you all very, very much for being here. Thank you, Janelle, for sticking with us. And
Thank you all.
and you'll send that information to us?
Yes. I will.
Okay. Thank you much. All right. The meeting is adjourned.
See you.
And okay, Eddie, the reason I wanted you to stick around for just a moment, thank you for being here. But you said at one point you had a person that might be interested in serving.
That's exactly right, yes.
And I hope you stay on for a long, long time. But even if you do, if that person is interested, I would encourage them to get their application.
No, I'm going to, yes, I'm going to encourage them tomorrow,
Okay.
yes.
It's their job or serve on the commission, right?
Why you put words in my mouth?
I don't know. You would have said it anyway. Okay. Thank you, Eddie, very much.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And then Dotso, so we have a need to meet. Oh, well, wait a minute. I better.
Is it recording still, maybe?
Recording stopped.
I guess we didn't need to keep that going. Do you want to meet on Saturday or?
Yeah, let me get back in touch with you if I can. I'm definitely coming up there on Tuesday, and I'm gonna be in Eureka Tuesday morning at 9:30. Saturday, I don't have a complete. I'm not set in stone. I'm coming up on Saturday, but I need to come up on Saturday if I can. But it's not like I'm definitely coming up on Tuesday.
Okay, let me check and see how I look for Tuesday. I am free all morning until 1 o'clock.
Okay. Let me see. I am going to be meeting a couple people in Eureka for this little event I'm doing. And I'm going to be meeting, see, I'm in the wrong month already. I'm already in August here. I'm going to be meeting a woman to pick up baked goods in Abrahamson Court, Eureka. So I'm not exactly sure where that is, but I can look it up. And so I'll be in Eureka.
Okay, well, give me a call maybe that morning before you leave home, and we'll make sure that we connect.
Okay, and maybe I'll reach out to you on Saturday, either way, and let you know if I'm coming up there or not, and then we can connect on Tuesday if we're not.
All right, great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you much. Is it hot down your way?
Yeah, it's very hot. Very, very hot.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish you could enjoy the cool air that's here, but
I enjoy summer. I like it. I mean, right now it's really nice because we don't have a lot of smoke happening, and so we're just crossing our fingers. And because usually at this time of year it's really smoky, and our river is flowing right next to our house, pretty nice. So we're enjoying the heat.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Okay, well, you have a nice evening.
You as well.
Thank you for being here. Take care.
You too. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.